meditation, bringing that excitement into that space where we breathe. Simply feeling the inhalation and exhalation, allowing this breath to remind us to be present. Present right here where we are. We can't take a breath from yesterday and breathe it today. We can't take a breath from tomorrow and breathe it today. We can't save a breath for a rainy day. Only this divine inhale and this divine exhale, present. And recognizing that this breath is the breath of the universe, breathing itself as us. There is only that which God is, a circle, circumference, nowhere, center, everywhere. Right where we are, the center of God is, and this breath is it, breathing itself. And so we anchor and ground to this truth, knowing that that power and that presence is demonstrated in this breath. And how exciting it is to participate in this thing called breathing. How often we go about our day breathing and yet not conscious of the divine breath. Driving, walking, shopping, chatting with a friend, and the breath goes on. Whether we are conscious and aware of it or not, it is there. God is there. Spirit is there always and in all ways. And so in this moment, we take this breath consciously, purposefully connecting with the divinity of our being right here and right now. And as we enter into that space of silence, with excitement, with joy, with love, we go to that place where we know and understand that there is no separation between who and what we are and what God is. There is only one power, one presence, God, infinite goodness itself. We inhale and we exhale. Spirit inhales, Spirit exhales. Love inhales, love exhales. The divine that we are, present, from the top of our heads to the soles of our feet, from the surface of our skin to every cell, every molecule, every quantum particle and wave. It's all God expressing right where we are, right as what we are. And we breathe and feel the excitement of knowing that God is right where we are, and all is well. And so it is. Unity of Gaithersburg. What's up, folks? How's it going? Oh, so we need to pull up that excitement slide again and practice this thing called excitement, this thing called vibrancy, this thing called zeal. So let's try this again. Because we're supposed to be grateful, right? We're grateful to be alive, grateful for great music, grateful for amazing events of service, like grateful. So where is the excitement for this gratitude? Let's try this one more time. Good morning, Unity of Gaithersburg. Thank you. There you go. Because see, if we're going to be the change, then that kind of excitement about being alive, that kind of excitement about being the divine is what we have to bring into the world. See, it's one thing to do it here, where we know each other, we're family, we're all good. But once you step outside those doors and hit that street down there and got to go into traffic and got to go to the bank and got to stand in line, and they don't ever have the slips that you want when you want them, so you have to go. It's more challenging to do it there. So the more we practice here, wax on, wax off. The more we practice here in the dojo of spiritual practice, the easier it is to do out there. Especially when, we visit family and there are those certain family members that sometimes, right? So we practice, which is what I want to talk about today, this idea of old new thought or new thought. Dun, 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 dun. Now, when I say old new thought, just raise your hand if you think you already in your mind's eye have an idea of what I'm referring to by old new thought. I see 3 possible hands. Okay, now they go. Okay, so there's a couple. Okay, so now would you still raise your hand? Do you still feel, I'm not going to do it, but I'm just asking. If I were to ask you to give me an example of what you think I'm talking about, would you still raise your hand confidently that you think you know where I'm going? Okay, cool, okay. And I'm actually going to ask. I'll ask Edie, since Edie is usually the one who's so reserved. Yes. What might I be referring to? Oh, there you go, yes. So, old new thought. Now, raise your hand if you still wear the first pair of baby booties you wore. Still wear them? Anybody? What about the first formal shirt that you wore or pair of pants you wore as a 3-year-old? Still wear them? Okay, we don't, right? We don't still wear the clothing of whatever we have outgrown. The God of our understanding when we were 5, 15, 25, whatever age, have we outgrown? Because it's easy for the God of that understanding, the God of, you are a sinner. You have made mistakes. Dun, 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 dun. Like we are very familiar with that concept of God, that concept of theology. And sometimes, even within New Thought, we do the same thing. We say things like, well, if you don't learn that lesson, Carol, God's going to hit you with that cosmic 2x4. It's still a God of punishment then. It's still a God who is looking from somewhere saying, Carol is not doing what I want. Why does she not? Cosmic 2x4. Maybe she'll learn it. Still no? Still no? What in the? That's still the same concept of an anthropomorphic God of punishment. We can flower it with whatever kind of language we want to flower it with, but it's still about you messed up and God is going to set you right. Old new thought. Old new thought of, I have so internalized the concept or the idea of whatever mass consciousness, the collective consciousness, has convinced me of, that I beat myself up before anybody else can do it for me, to me, with me. I look at myself in the mirror and I remind myself how bad I look, how fat I look, how thin I look, how pale I look, how something I look, how I feel. My bank account doesn't reflect, my relationships don't do, and all of this stuff. And we heap punishment upon ourselves. Because old New Thought says, if it's in your consciousness, guess who, by the law of attraction, created it and brought it to you? No. And I understand there is math how old were most of us when we first took our first official math class? Maybe first grade. Some of us were in those kindergarten classes where we were counting the amounts of clay that we put in Jeffrey's ear, or whatever. Whenever it was that we took a formal math class, we started with parentheses and alphabet divided by, no, we didn't start with that. No, we started with 1 plus 15. No, we started with 1 plus 1. And then 2, and then we get maybe to go to college or whatnot. Then it's algebra. Well, maybe that was high school. Algebra. The letter. When did the alphabet become part of math? I know, right? So now we're doing all kinds of stuff, symbols, and that's part of math. And then you get to trigonometry. Ooh. And then you get to quantum mechanics. Let's just pray. But it started with 1 plus 1. So I understand that in this thing we call New Thought, there is a 1 plus 1 representation of what Charles and Myrtle and every other New Thought luminary, Emma Curtis Hopkins, Ernest Holmes, doesn't matter who, all of them, there is that 1 plus 1 understanding. Yes. There is I am switching from eating meat to being vegetarian, to being vegetarian, to being vegan, to then being vegan. Yes, I've made it. But I started with just remove one thing from my plate. Because if I just jump, my body's going to be like, whoa, pump the brakes, pump the brakes. What did you just do? Huh? Guess where you're getting ready to go? Bathroom. The body will revolt when there are sudden. So we do it gradually. So the body the body operates the same way the consciousness operates, gradually. But many of us get to that space where I'm not comfortable. And so, remember the message of, even if you do not feel like line dancing personally yourself, you will be just as entertained by watching. You're still participating. You're still in the room where it happened. You're still there. So you're still part of the energy. We are invited now to step into the very place where we're not comfortable. That's New Thought. New Thought says there is only one mind, and that mind is God, and that mind is your mind right now. Yes, we still take classes, we still do stuff, but there is nothing that you need to do or become to make yourself more holy, more divine, more God. You are it right now. Because if you're not, then that would imply that there somehow is God and not quite God yet. Need another workshop before I get, I'm almost God, not quite. You're it now. Circle, circumference where? Nowhere. Center where? Everywhere. Right where you are is the center of God consciousness. How do you live that way? How do you practice being that? Not doing. The doing is informed by our being. Gandhi said, be the change. That means consciousness recognizes right here and right now, I am the emissary of, the ambassador of that which is equity, that which is justice, that which is love, that which is compassion, that which is wisdom, that which is the divine magnificence of humanity. I am the physical representation of that, which now informs every person that I meet. That is who meets them. And it doesn't just meet them as, did you get the memo? I'm the emissary. It's the memo of, I am, and namaste. That which I am sees itself in and as you too. That changes how we interact with everyone. And even when someone or something happens that is challenging to get through, pause, slight sidebar. Do you know one of the reasons why you haven't seen me here in such a long time? So I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in December. And, you know, when you walk into the doctor's office, like there was a process before I got there, like blood tests and, biopsies and all this stuff. And so from the moment of this might be till you get to in December where they're like, yeah, that's definitely what it is. There's this process. And it's like, ooh, might this be the ticket out? But if I know and recognize that who and what I am, then I have a practice that I bring to whatever that is. Anxiety, bring the practice. Fear, bring the practice. Old New Thought would have us not be afraid. It's all God. It's all good. Just be happy. Would you tell that to the people in Maui right now? No. Because we know that that's metaphysical malpractice. But we still say these cute little aphorisms without pausing. And I understand linguistic convenience. But there is a time to extrapolate from it and go all in so that we can truly be a beneficial presence to the world. So you go through this process. What is mine to do? How do I address this thing called prostate cancer? You meditate. You pray. You might shed a tear. What did I do? Pray, meditate, shed a tear, whatever that is. Because for me, now, there is this aspect of, am I afraid of, no, I'm not. I was mad that might not be here to finish what I want to do. So I was mad. But then it's like, breathe, man, breathe. Pull out the old calculus books. It's time to do some quantum physics in terms of your meditation practice, in terms of your spiritual practice, because you have work to do. And even if that work is you've only got 6 months, whatever it is, you're going to do it within the 6 months. So quit playing around and get to practice. And in that moment, in there somewhere, what are my options? And what? Let's just go ahead and remove the prostate. So April 25th, prostate was gone. But then there's all of the healing stuff that comes after that. Well, you do know you're going to have to wear an adult diaper for a while because you're going to be incontinent. And what now? I just collected my thoughts about surgery, and now how long might this be? Well, it could be anywhere from 8 months to forever, the rest of your life. I don't like that answer, but I'm going to hold and take it to practice. New Thought says whatever we are faced with, there is a practice to navigate. We are like ships on the seas of life. Sometimes the sea is smooth, so smooth, like looking into a mirror smooth. And then sometimes it's like, what is that movie with, I can't think of his name, Perfect Storm, where there's like, I know that's a wave and splash, where it's everything but, and yet there are still tools to navigate as best we can through whatever is going on in life. So when unity prayer coming up, correct? You heard the memo, right? New Thought would say, yes, I have personal things to pray for, yes, but I'm also going to put in, let's pray for Hawaii. I'm also going to put in, let's pray for the division in the United States among political ideologies. I'm going to also put in there the Ukraine, they're still going through. I'm also going to put in there, and I'm going to put in there, and I'm going to put in there everything that troubles me. If I watch the news and it makes me angry, prayer request. If it saddens me, prayer request. If it makes me feel anxious, prayer request.
if it makes me feel excitement and joy, prayer requests, because I want more of it. That means, what is the famous unity song? Our thoughts are prayers, and we are once in a while praying. Now you laugh because you know that ain't how the song go. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Always praying. And Yeshua, Jesus, tomato, he said, pray as though you have what you are praying for. That means declare. That means be grateful. Because it's not a space between, dear Lord, please bring peace upon the planet. Please let more people, okay, who are you talking to? Because you are the incarnation of the divine. You are it. Your thoughts are God's thoughts. What are you doing with them? Your hands are God's hands. What are you doing with them? Your body, God's body. What are you doing with it? Are you treating it as a sacred vessel of the divine? Or do you mistreat it by calling it names? So clumsy, so awkward, so this, so that, whatever, whoever has conditioned us to say about ourselves, rather than seeing yourself as the divine. When Jesus said, when you see me, you see the Father who sent me, are you able to declare the same thing? When you see yourself in the mirror, see yourself as the same way he did. I know who and what I am. And in knowing who and what I am, it informs how I act in the world. What does love say that unity's response to racism is? What does love say unity's response to, I don't refer to it as homophobia anymore because they are not phobic, they are not afraid. It's homomisia, they hate. What is unity's response to homomisia, transmesia, Islamamisia, the hatred of? How does unity as a philosophy, as a theology, because truth be told, we may not often say this, but New Thought in general is a liberation theology. It sets us free from the baggage of. Now, granted, it may not be liberation theology the way it was created in Catholicism and whatnot. This is neither here nor there. But it is a liberation theology in that it sets you free to know how magnificent you are, how powerful you are, how divine you are, how loved you are, even at our lowest point when we don't feel that anyone cares or loves us. You have to be loved. You are the universe expressing. And the universe is love. And so if the universe is love and it is incarnating as you, then every cell of your body resonates with the divine chord of love. It felt off. Love. That's what it is, though. Every cell of your body, everything that you are, is love made flesh. So even when we feel isolated and alone and afraid and whatever, New Thought says, New Thought reminds us, in the same way that I look different than I did when I was 11 years old. I am a new being. Each morning, I am a new being. Different cells, different skin fell off, different, let's not talk about the hair. Different things have changed as time, different. So why would my consciousness not also be different? Why would my method of showing up as the divine, as love, not also be different? What anniversary of the March on Washington is coming up? 60th. Are we still struggling with some of the same things that March number 1 faced? Why? Because the collective consciousness is still stuck in 1812, 1714. Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. We're still stuck in the consciousness of way back when. Versus, I often ask people, do you believe that we could eradicate war? And oftentimes, people, even a new thought, tell me no. We will never get rid of war. And I say, but can you imagine a world without it? You know what they say to me? They can't even imagine it. We can imagine unicorns and mermaids and talking puppets on Sesame Street as though they are actual. We can imagine all of that. We can imagine while laying in the bed getting ready for, and we hear, what was that? What was that? What, Carol, did you hear that? What was that noise? And we imagine that there's something or someone in the house. We imagine that. We can imagine worst case scenarios. You know, I plan for, but I always have a backup plan because you never know. That's imagining. You are imagining the what if and preparing for. It's imagination. But these people are telling me they can't even imagine a world without war. A war where we truly, yes, there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace for eternity. Because God is incarnating as each one of us. We are the emissaries of it. That's what we're invited to step into as new thought. Breath by breath, moment by moment, each interaction by each interaction. And we will see the world change. Namaste. So as we prepare to go out into the world, we go out with all of this excitement and all of this joy and all of this love and all of this awareness of who and what we are. So that no matter what is going on, we are the divine demonstration of. We are the medicine. We are the love. We are the light. We are the presence of God showing up in the world. And we demonstrate all is well. And so it is. And so it is.